What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. This is Season 2, officially for Marduk Motorsport. Here is the car, the challenger for this season. Check out the previous episode if you haven't seen it already, the pre-season video, where we basically go through all the admin side of the team. We choose our teammate, we choose our livery. Obviously, that's a bit of a spoiler now, but never mind. You see all of the build-up to Season 2, and also closing the chapter, I suppose, of Season 1. We find our teammate, Dan Ticktum, and we have now, spoiler, hired Nico Rosberg. 2016 Formula 1 World Champion, and one of the very few people in existence who have beaten Lewis Hamilton over the course of a season. So, he's in the stable, and I'm very much looking forward to the partnership between myself and Nico. He's going to be bringing in so many resource points to the team, and he's going to lift it to a whole new level.
Alright, welcome to the new season. I think we've done a pretty good job protecting our development gains through the regs change, so the car should be pretty decent. But get out there and let us know how it feels.
And here we go. This is the performance standing for us as a team. As you guys know, there was a regulation change heading into Season 2 that affected all the engine components. Thankfully, we were able to save literally everything. The only thing we lost was the supplier upgrades from Renault. But otherwise, we pretty much remain unaffected by the regulation change. And that brings us closer to the midfield, closer to the front-running pace of the leaders. So hopefully, we'll be able to challenge for consistent points from here on out. Development is only going to kick up a notch after this episode when we get the Facility 2 upgrades. We actually do have Spec 2 facilities now, but there wasn't enough time to put on all the upgrades in those departments. So that'll be what we tackle in the next episode of Career Mode, so look forward to that. But yeah, here we go. For Friday practice, we're going to have our first running with the new car. I mean, really, the car isn't much different at all to the end of Season 1, but I'll digress. We should be at least somewhat more competitive than what we were at the end of last season.
Okay, the track is green right now, so take a few laps to get the tyres up to temperature. Try and feel your way around.
And here we go, pulling out of the pit lane for the first time in Season 2. Let's get a feel of what this car is like. Obviously, it's going to be so much better than what we arrived with one season ago at this very racetrack. So we'll have to find our bearings, but I'd imagine that this is going to be a good circuit for us. We're going to be able to start off the season well, given how much closer we are to the front-running pace here in F1. But, you know, this track suits the dynamics of our car. We've got very good straight line performance. Our aero is suboptimal, I'd say, but there's not many high-speed corners here at Bahrain, so we're just going to run slightly higher downforce to accommodate for that. Track can be a little bit high or harsh on the tyre wear, and that's also an area that we focused development on through Season 1. So, with that said, I think we're going to be a bit of a force to be reckoned with. I think we'll be able to overtake and defend quite easily with our straight line speed prowess. And then the tyre wear will just speak for itself in the Grand Prix. But anyway, Nico Rosberg coming in with a very solid 300 resource points, which is exactly what you want to see. He's only going to help the development of the car tenfold over the two teammates that I had in Season 1. So that's something I'm very much looking forward to, and having his input, his experience come through, because he is a man who really focuses on the finer details and leaves no stone unturned. We need someone like that to really back us up in terms of resource point generation, but just point generation on the Sundays. So that's Friday practice run and dealt with. We're now going to move into qualifying for the Bahrain Grand Prix. I'd say at a minimum we want to be getting out of Q1. We might even be able to challenge for Q3, but that might be a push. Who knows? Wish me luck. Here we go then for the first qualifying session of Season 2. I'm always highly energized for these first quali sessions of the season because now you truly get to see what the car is capable of relative to everyone else in the field. And here we are spectating Nico for his first laps in anger in the car. I'm very interested to see how he gets on, of course. He's been out of the sport for 5 years. We need to give him that, so he might be a little bit rusty. His stats really do the talking for him. I think he's got like high 80s in terms of pace, plus the facility boost for pace that we've given him through the simulator. He's well into the 90s in terms of raw pace, so he's not going to be a slouch. That is for sure. I think once he fully gets used to the car, he'll be up there with us, maybe even a little bit faster. So he's really going to keep us on our toes, I'd say, in this season of career mode. Anyway, first lap in anger coming to a close. It's been okay. It's only been the first lap. It's a 25.3, which puts us P21 at this stage. And as you can see, Nico is nowhere to be seen on the relative leaderboard. So he's at least P17 or higher. I need to pull my finger out here and put the car where it should be, because we were, around P16, 17, 15, 14 towards the end of the season, and Nico has one-upped us. He's in 13th right now, only 9/10 away from pole position. We're 2.2 seconds away from pole. So what's going on there, Ben? I'm obviously washed up. No, it's odd, because I've been driving, I'd say, a lot better on the F1 game lately since I've changed my camera settings and wheel settings. I feel like my pace is pretty good. The only thing I could probably put it down to is maybe the setup isn't matched to this circuit. In my defense, I have loaded a Mexico setup. 9.6 wings, which is maybe high for a circuit like Bahrain. But I'm trying to accommodate for this car's lack of downforce. We're already topping out all the speed traps, so to balance that out, I'm running extra downforce. But yeah, the pace doesn't seem to be attached to, where this car should be at this stage. P19 is not good enough. This is our last lap of the session, by the way, in Q1, and we're only up by half a tenth. That is by far not good enough. We're finding a bit of time now in Sector 3. Coming to the last few corners, we need to be improving by like half a second. That's a nice exit for us there. 3/10 up as we approach the last corner. This is our last ditch effort to try and get ourselves out of this session and into Q2. I've noticed my former teammate, the Australian boy, is possibly through to Q2. Can we knock him out in this session? No, we cannot. Nico is through to Q2. I get knocked out in 19th place. I've actually lost pace from Season 1 to Season 2. Obviously, a lap that's not good enough. Just not good enough. Needed to drive a bit better. Yes, I admit that, but I think the other half of the equation is the setup. Every good racing driver needs an excuse, and my excuse book is longer than the Bible. So, we've got to turn it around in the race. We have got to turn it around in a race. Nico rocks up first race, and he's a second faster. That cannot fly in this team. Let's go to the race.
Months of rumour and speculation all come to an end today as we return to racing for the opening event of what promises to be an enthralling season. Welcome along then to round 1 of this year's Formula 1 World Championship. A new season then, a clean slate where anything could happen. Anthony Davidson is with me today as we get another year of Formula 1 underway.
We're into those tense few minutes before the first race then. Everyone's a little bit nervous about reliability. They haven't been running in the hot, turbulent wake of other cars in practice, and they've not been pushing at 100% for long durations. Let's hope no one has to deal with any nasty surprises.
It's time to take a look at our starting grid for today's race. Daniel Ricciardo starts from pole position today, and it's Lewis Hamilton alongside. Moving on to the rest of the grid, we have Norris, Bottas, Max Verstappen and Perez, Gasly, Vettel, Leclerc and Esteban Ocon, Sainz, Stroll, Nico Rosberg and Russell, Giovinazzi, Armstrong, Yuki Tsunoda and Mick Schumacher, Benjamin, Tigtum, Latifi and Nikita Mazepin. And now it's time to head down to the track.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
Thank you, Jeff. I know I let you down in quali, but that will not be the case in the race. We've got Arav on the team. He's managing the tyres, so we know we're in good hands today. Welcome to the grid of the Bahrain Grand Prix. 19th place on the grid. No grid penalties for our rivals to kind of soften the blow, so to speak. So, yeah, this is going to be a tough old Grand Prix. But like I said, hopefully the car is set up well to overtake. I'm going to leave the downforce levels where they are, 9.6 wings. We should be able to overtake still. I mean, this is probably one of the easiest circuits on the F1 calendar for overtaking, so at least we've got that on our side. We're going to try and cling on to the faster boys ahead with our medium compound tyres. Everyone outside the top 10 has the same idea, so it looks like we'll be going for a one-stop. Dare I say, the leaders will be on a two-stop. Away we go for the Bahrain Grand Prix, and that's a great start relative to those around me. We draw alongside one of the AlphaTauris, that is Yuki Tsunoda, heading down into turn 1. Yuki going for the big dive bomb. I've actually made contact with his rear diffuser there, but I think we're actually okay. I think the front wing damage is non-existent on this occasion. So sim damage actually being a little bit forgiving for a change. We go around the outside of Giovinazzi and Russell, and we nearly get Tsunoda again into turn 4. But yeah, we'll bide our time. There's someone going very slowly up the road. Nico has made up a couple of places as well, by the way. Up the inside of Tsunoda and maybe Stroll at the hairpin, as these guys going very tentative behind the damaged Alpine, which is a long way up the road. That is not Fernando Alonso. It must be Pierre Gasly, the new boy in the French team. Yeah, there's the front wing damage. Right hand upright is missing, and he'll be pulling into the pit lane at the end of this lap. Meanwhile, I got a nice little move done on Sainz while we were looking at the front wing of Gasly. So I'll take that. Thank you very much. P12, and it's probably going to be even better as people are going to pit at the end of this lap. Nico up the inside of Ocon. Couldn't quite get the move done, and now we're going to have a little run at him. Leclerc and Gasly into the pit lane, promoting both of us into the top 10. Marduk Motorsport are on a charge here on this opening lap of the Bahrain Grand Prix. There goes Nico. Nice move. Nice move. Can he make it stick though around the outside of Ocon? No, he cannot. The Alpine just that little bit better than us when it comes to mechanical grip, but also downforce. So tough for the likes of Nico to dance around the outside of that car at that point of the circuit. He'll bide his time for now, and I think when the DRS gets enabled, we might be in a good position to strike in this race. I'm losing touch with Rosberg already in this race, and it's only been 2 laps. I mean, I was on him at the start of the lap, and he's just pulling away.
No tyre concerns at the moment. Just focus on the driving.
Okay. Thanks, Jeff. I wanted to know if I had damage or not that I was potentially missing, because it felt like I was losing a little bit too much time with Rosberg. But you never know. Maybe I do have front wing damage. Maybe there is just the slightest little chunk out of the wing that's not showing on the damage indicator. Yellow flag in the middle sector. I think that's one of the Haas drivers who's had a bit of a moment. And yep, it is Mick Schumacher. He's had a bit of a spin. Not sure if he was helped into that. But, oh, his DRS is stuck open, I think. I don't know. Bit of a weird one. Anyway, no safety car for the field to save us. I think a safety car would have been really awkward, because we want to carry these mediums as deep into the race as we can go and then switch to the soft compound tyres. So a safety car at this stage would only help the soft compound runners. So let's hope that we don't get one. We are, again, losing touch to Rosberg. He is very, very fast. This is the difference between an F2 rookie and an F1 world champion. It's been quite the upgrade, I'd have to say, from Dan Ticktum to Nico Rosberg. One of the Red Bulls is gone. That's Max Verstappen. Has he got a failure of some kind? Because that's so odd to be stationary on the racing line. He's not got front wing damage. He's just parked up. He's parked up for a picnic in the middle of a Grand Prix. I think he's out. I think he's out of the Grand Prix. Safety car has been deployed. And there we go. The thing that we didn't want in this race, not at this stage anyway, is exactly what we get. It's the curse of the commentator. Once again, we're not going to dive into the pit lane. We want to elongate this first stint. Nico has the same idea, and all the soft compound tyre runners are in, with the exception of the two Mercedes. Double stacking a McLaren. That is absolutely awful for Lando Norris, as he's going to lose so many positions in this race. Onto the medium tyres he goes. And dare I say it, maybe the McLarens can go to the end of the Grand Prix now on those mediums. The problem for us, though, is that we're on the mediums now, and we can't switch to another set of mediums, because we'd have to stop again after that. The medium is the race tyre to be on. The hards are too slow, and the softs just wear out too quickly. I think even if we stopped for softs, we probably wouldn't be able to get to the end on another set of softs after that. So we're going to stick to the strategy. The safety car, in effect, does make it easier for us to get to the end on this one stop using the two softer compounds. So we're going to keep the track position. We're going to see if we can hold on to the likes of the Mercedes and my teammate. But I tell you what, guys, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really, really tough. Nico has sublime pace at this circuit, and the Mercedes, well, there's going to be no touching them. We're going to keep the tyres nice and warm. Nico might potentially have a shot at his former team here. He's going to be nice and aggressive off the start, I'd imagine. Try and be a thorn in their side. Safety car pulls in, and we are ready to get this Grand Prix underway. Trying to get the jump on Nico.
Okay, clear.
It half worked, actually, as we're drawing alongside, but Nico has the slipstream of the Mercedes to pull ahead. Nico having a little look at Valtteri Bottas into turn one. Valtteri's left the door open, and yes, I did say Valtteri Bottas. That's a meme, I think. I don't really know what the meaning is behind that. Anyway, we go around the outside of Rosberg, and Max Verstappen is now out of the Grand Prix. He's got 9 lives in this race, but unfortunately that engine has just burned through all of them. Sayonara, Max, to another chance at winning a championship. Season 1 didn't work out at all for Red Bull. Reliability was their biggest downside, and they've not sorted it out in Season 2. That is a big yikes. We've got another yikes here. We've got Giovinazzi getting past Carlos Sainz as he pulls into the pit lane immediately after a safety car. There's another yellow flag at turn 1. Lando Norris has lost his front wing. It's all kicking off here in Bahrain, and it's only the first race. Here's a replay of one of the AlphaTauris just having a little excursion through turn 1. That's my former teammate, Marcus Armstrong, making contact with Lando. So about a corner after this, no, that wasn't Lando. That was, of course, that was Daniel Ricciardo, because Lando at the same time was in the pit lane. So both the McLarens in the wars a little bit, but Ricciardo managing to escape with a clean front wing, which is the main thing. Anyway, back to this race. It's been a bit mental. There's another yellow flag just to add to the craziness. What is it this time? It's another McLaren. No, it's not a McLaren. It's Mick Schumacher again. He's had another spin. He spun in the middle sector only a few laps ago, and now he's had another one at turn 1 this time. Oh my goodness. The realism here at Codemasters is unbelievable. I mean, yes, Haas's did struggle in Bahrain in the start of 2021, but they've got their drivers under wraps now. They're not making so many mistakes these days. But yeah, the mistakes coming back into the game at the start of Season 2. It seems they haven't learned anything. Or maybe the Haas is just as undrivable as it was in Season 1. Who knows? But anyway, we've got Daniel Ricciardo behind us on the medium compound tyres, freshly boxed onto those tyres as well. He is the effective race leader, by the way, and I'm doing my best job to try and keep him at bay, because right now, Marduk Motorsport have a 1-2 at this point. We're squeezing out Ricciardo onto the curbing there. He backs out of it, and every corner that I can keep Ricciardo behind helps my teammate Nico Rosberg in getting away. This squabbling is really holding up my pace, but I'm playing the team game here so that Marduk Motorsport can get as many points as possible. I mean, we are legitimately fighting Ricciardo for this position because Ricciardo, I think, has to make another stop in this race. So the longer I can hold him up, the better it'll help my race, I reckon. So we're going to keep doing it. We're going to keep the fight going. I've lost the back end at the right-hander, just like I did in the last race in Abu Dhabi, but this time we managed to save it, thankfully, and escape with our race intact, I suppose. Bit of an unforced error there. The tyre's starting to go off. I was really under pressure from Ricciardo, and on the grip limit, I was forced to go narrow as well into that right-hander, and putting too much load on the rear tires is what tipped the balance for me. And yeah, we were very lucky to hold on to that one. We lost the position and we get a warning, but it's better than being halfway through a barrier, I suppose. So we will take that result, and maybe we'll be able to get slipstream and DRS off Ricciardo straight away. So here we go. Let's test the straight line speed of this Renault against a Mercedes power plant in the back of a McLaren. We're going to go up the inside of Ricciardo. He squeezes us into turn one. We go for the move anyway. Job done. Or is it? We're going too deep. Ricciardo's going to get the switch back and takes P2 in this Grand Prix once again. Nice move there from Ricciardo. Nice composure. We went in all guns blazing into turn one. Didn't think about the exit. I just wanted the position. He didn't back out of it. Got the job done. And we probably won't see Ricciardo again in this race unless turn 4, we go around the outside, but we can't quite make it stick. We don't have the performance of a McLaren on fresh tires at this point in the car's lifespan. So we're going to bide our time. We're going to settle in for now. It might actually be better for our race now if we just tuck into the slipstream and DRS of Ricciardo. Who am I kidding? He's a second a lap plus the rest faster than us per lap, and we've just completely lost touch with Ricciardo. So yeah, Ricciardo is on a charge for Nico Rosberg, who leads this race now on screen. First race back, and he's absolutely flying. Nico is into the pit lane now for what is an early stop. I think he's gone on to hard compound tyres, which, in my opinion, is a mistake. I reckon if he stayed out an extra 2 laps, he could have gone on to softs like us. But he's gone for the safe strategy. Let's see how that plays out for him. Nico was 5 seconds ahead of us prior to the pit stop. But I think now, with that strategy blunder, we might actually be able to beat our teammates with the softs. They're going to be so much faster every lap compared to the hards. So, yeah, we'll see if we can make it work. But Nico settling in nicely. He's actually the effective race leader. I think that Nico is going to maintain the lead here after Ricciardo's stop. But we'll just have to wait and find out. Ricciardo trying to do the overcut on the medium compound tyres. He's certainly going to be very close to Nico as he comes out of the pit lane. There goes Nico. Where is Ricciardo? There he is. He's only half a second behind. So it's going to be a showdown between Rosberg and Ricciardo for the lead of this Grand Prix. And it's only his first race back after a 5-year sabbatical. Nico Rosberg, take a bow. Here he goes. Round the outside goes Ricciardo. That happened a lot faster than I thought it would. But, yeah, we've got to be realistic here. We know where our car sits. We're still only a midfield car. We have benefited massively by doing the one stop. And I think a lot of other people in this race have kind of pooed the bed a little bit. The Mercedes stuffing up their strategy. Lando double stacking behind Ricciardo, then losing his wing. So many other people have had issues. Red Bull have been nowhere. What's happened to Sergio Perez? Obviously, Max Verstappen is out of the Grand Prix. The Ferraris having their own set of issues. It's just been a weird Grand Prix. Aston Martin being nowhere. They're supposed to be pretty good, but they've just got caught up in traffic and unable to cut through it. So, yeah, it's been a weird one. This is Sergio Perez overtaking Sebastian Vettel. And this is a bit of a stalemate as Perez has got the slow hard compound tyres on. The Aston Martin on better mediums, proving to be a thorn in the side of Sergio Perez and Red Bull, who have lost all their engine upgrades. Red Bull have fared the worst out of the regulation changes. Their car was already slowish in a straight line. It's now even worse. So Perez is really struggling to overtake here up against the Mercedes, even though he's got DRS. And look at the difference here. Perez with DRS we've got DRS, and we just draw alongside into the braking zone. Round the outside we go. Soft compound tyres versus hards. Even though he's in a much better car, it's making up the difference. And we now scoop up P5 in this Grand Prix. Sorry about that. Just had to scratch my nose for a second. Anyway, back to the action. Here's the replay. Around the outside of Perez. He actually got boxed in a little bit by Vettel on the apex of turn 1. So he had to hold back a little bit in order to not run into the back of him, and that made the move a little bit easier for us in the end. P5 in this Bahrain Grand Prix. Vettel is up next, and given that he's isolated, it should be pretty easy to overtake. Very standard pass, very textbook. Round the outside.
That brings you up a place.
It's not even round the outside. It's just I have more straight line speed than you. Thanks for the position. So it's 4th place now in this Bahrain Grand Prix. We're now going to see about setting a fastest lap if we can. We've been on these tyres for a couple of laps now. They have slightly seen off their new edge, but we did have the DRS on this lap, and now we're running in clear air. So we might be able to get something out of this lap. Purple to the first sector. Personal best through Sector 2, and we've been using a lot of ERS in Sector 3. Up to the line, it is good enough for a fastest lap of the Grand Prix, and Lewis Hamilton might well be shaking in his boots, because now we are catching him, but he has to overtake his former teammate, his biggest rival in his career, Nico Rosberg. The Rosberg v Hamilton rivalry that we've been waiting for since Rosberg announced his return. We're not going to have to wait long for the battle on track between Lewis and Nico. Up the inside goes Lewis into the last corner. Nico being very respectful there and leaving quite a bit of space. This is for P2 in this race, and Nico gives up. I don't want to say gives up, but he knows how to pick his battles, and that was one that I guess wasn't worth fighting because I'm catching. And I'm catching quite quickly. Oh, Vettel has got a problem. That's the engine gone. So many people in this race are having issues. All the top teams have dropped the ball, really, in this Grand Prix. Bottas down in P6.
Some information on Vettel. They've got a serious
It's a
car
bit
issue.
mental. We are 3rd and 4th. 3rd and 4th in our first race back in Season 2. My teammates don't score points. I don't have a teammate who scored a point so far, and Nico is looking likely to get a podium before me.
They're on old hards.
Anyway,
Their
one of the
tyres are
Alpines has got a
11 months
puncture.
old.
The
P5
madness
last
in this
round
Grand
was a
Prix
1 minute
only
27.2.
continues.
You're gaining
It is
by around
ridiculous.
6
We are now within DRS range of Nico Rosberg, but we're running out of laps. We've only got a lap and a half in this Grand Prix to go, and we know from experience that the AI turn up the wick to 11 on the last lap of the Grand Prix. They basically waste all of their battery. I mean, I don't blame them. I do the same. So it's going to be very difficult to overtake Nico on this last lap. This is our best chance down into turn 1, but we're just not close enough to get the job done. Ideally, I would have loved to have caught Nico on the previous lap at this point, but yeah, he's going to have a lot of pace on this last lap. The hards are going to be phasing in better, then the soft switch die off very quickly. As we all know, I'm trying to get as close as I can to Nico. He's actually still very slow through the low speed corners. So the mechanical grip on the hards still not quite there compared to these softs, which are getting on in age. But we'll try and use this triple left-hander as a means to get very close to Nico. The rotation on these softs is still very good. The traction is difficult with that curve on the right-hand side. We try and get on the power nice and early, but Nico is not cracking in this race. He's still keeping the gap at half a second, which is not enough for us to get close down into the last few corners. The final corner is going to be our best chance to overtake, and we're just not getting close enough through the high-speed right-hander. We've got to really send it through this one. You can see the tyres starting to die off. High 30s, early 40s for the left rear tyre. Daniel Ricciardo has won the Grand Prix in the McLaren. God. Oh, he is the new championship leader. I'm shocked. That's what that is. Last corner. I can't beat Nico Rosberg. He is going to beat me to a podium in my own team. 3rd and 4th. Not a bad start.
Okay, pick up rubber and bring it home.
Is that all you've got to say, Jeff? That's the team's best ever result. Oh yeah, pick up rubber and bring it home. Cheers, mate. Thanks.
It was a tough race at times, but they've held on to take a great victory for McLaren today. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Without a doubt, the safety car changed everything today. The key to their success was keeping calm and reacting to the situation quickly. We've seen teams in the past throw away wins because they were too hesitant, but here they were decisive, and that's allowed them to take the advantage.
And look at that, they're making their way out onto the podium now. Great race from the McLaren team, and I'm really happy to see them there on the top step of the podium.
Boom. What a podium. Daniel Ricciardo on the top step. Nico Rosberg, my teammate, in last season's overalls. Look, they're in the dry cleaners. We're getting them for the next race. But it's so typical that the old stuff is on show. On the podium, regardless, it's a podium. And it's not for me, it's for my teammate. We've had teammates just flopping race after race. Nico Rosberg, proven race winner, proven champion, rocks up in a new formula and immediately makes a statement. Already, he's justified that $6 million price tag. Even on the crap strategy, on the hards, he held firm, and I wasn't able to beat him. That is the sign of a good driver. That consistency was incredible. And we are P1 in the Constructors. We've gone from 8th at the end of Season 1 to the top in one race. I'm speechless. I'm honestly speechless. End the season now. Marduk Motorsport are Constructors champions in F1 2021. I mean, the stars had to align there, didn't they? We had the golden race. We had a great strategy, doing the one stop. Everyone else just pooing the bed, really, with incidents, bad strategy, getting tangled up with other people. It was a bit mental. This Bahrain Grand Prix might well be the best race of the season, and we'd probably be hard pressed to top it for the rest of Season 2. But who knows? What a start to the season. Top of the Constructors, 3rd and 4th in the drivers, respectively. Car looks amazing. We just need the overalls to back it up. But yeah, there we go. We'll sort out the rest of the team in good time. But that's a massive boost for everyone involved. And we've really hit the ground running now. We've got to see if we can hold on to first in the Constructors. It's definitely not going to be a thing. But yeah, that's the boost to the team we wanted. It's so refreshing, actually. It's so motivating to have a teammate that is absolutely rapid. Only on softs could I catch Nico Rosberg when he was on hards. But we were on the same tyre in the first stint. It was nigh on impossible to actually keep his pace. It remains to be seen whether I had front wing damage that was slightly affecting the pace of my car. Looking at the front wing there, it looks fine. So, no excuses. Nico is the real deal. And we're going to have to really up our game to maintain #1 driver status within our own team. So that is something I look forward to. Many storylines at play. Make sure you join me for the rest of the season to see how it all plays out. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and leave a like if you enjoyed this video. Absolute belter. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys for round 2. Not sure where it is, but it'll be a cracker nonetheless. Until the next video, I'll see you next time.